Hey everybody, welcome back to the English Podcast Studio. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sophie. Today we're going over those friends expressions you hear all the time, the ones that show up again and again in almost every episode.
That's right, these aren't just quotes, they're part of the show's DNA. If you know these, you'll understand 80% of the jokes.
Alright, first one has to be Janice's. Oh my god. Her voice, her tone, her over-the-top delivery, unforgettable.
Exactly. And the thing about oh my god in real life is that it's super common, but Janice's slow, dramatic version makes it hilarious. You can even copy her voice for comedic effect.
Right, and that dramatic pause between each word is a great way to add emphasis in English. Like, this is amazing.
Next, I know, from Monica. We mentioned this last time, but it's worth repeating because it's everywhere in the show. And it's not just the words, it's the squeal and the enthusiasm. It's a perfect way to agree when you're also excited.
Okay, moving on to Ross's unforgettable scream. Pivot, that scene where they're moving the couch. Legendary.
Yes. In real life, pivot means to turn or rotate something, but Ross turned it into a joke about shouting instructions nobody listens to. Now people say pivot in any frustrating moving situation.
Exactly. Next up, Joey's how you doing? I think if you say that line anywhere in the world, someone will say, oh, you watch Friends?
Absolutely. It's simple, but with that Joey swagger, it becomes iconic. It's basically his entire dating strategy in 2 words.
Alright, now let's get into Phoebe's smelly cat. Even though it's a song, the phrase itself has become a way to describe anything weird but lovable.
Totally. And I love that the meaning is deeper. It's about embracing what makes you different. Here's another one you'll catch constantly. You're my lobster. Phoebe explains lobsters mate for life, so now it's a romantic way of saying soulmate.
Yeah, if someone calls you their lobster, it's definitely a compliment. Unless they mean it literally, then maybe worry. Laughs. Okay, here's another one. Joey's Joey doesn't share food. It's a funny, relatable way to say I don't like sharing my food.
Right. And you can adapt it. Just replace Joey with your own name for comedy. Sophie doesn't share fries.
So there you have it, the recurring friends expressions you'll hear in almost every episode. They're short, they're memorable, and they're a great way to practice real spoken English.
Next episode, we'll look at expressions in Friends that have hidden cultural meanings. Stuff you might miss if you're not American. Okay, let's explore Friends expressions that you might think you understand, but they actually have a deeper meaning in American culture.
Exactly. These are the lines where, if you didn't grow up in the US, you might miss the joke or not realize why it's funny.
Okay, first one. It's not that common, it doesn't happen to every guy, and it is a big deal. Monica says this to Chandler in the one with Ross's wedding. It's about, let's say, an awkward male problem.
Yeah, and the humor here is partly about American embarrassment culture. People don't openly talk about these topics, so when Monica blurts it out in public, it's hilarious and shocking.
Right. So the cultural meaning is that in the US, public honesty about personal topics is often seen as awkward comedy. Next one, Joey's it's not just a moot point. It's like a cow's opinion, it doesn't matter. This is funny because Joey thinks he's explaining a real idiom, but is totally mixing it up.
Exactly. Americans say moot point to mean irrelevant. But Joey turns it into moot points because cows. The cultural humor here is making fun of people who confidently use words incorrectly.
Alright, moving on. Phoebe's I'm very bendy in the yoga episode. In American sitcoms, that kind of line often has a double meaning. Innocent on the surface, but suggestive underneath.
Yes, that's a huge part of Friends humor, the double entendre. It's when a sentence can be understood in 2 ways. One innocent, one a little more adult.
Now here's a Ross moment, Unagi. Ross claims it's a state of total awareness, but Unagi is actually a Japanese word for freshwater eel. The joke here is that Ross is trying to sound smart and worldly, but is completely wrong. In American culture, this kind of fake expertise is often played for laughs.
Exactly. And speaking of cultural humor, Chandler's Thanksgiving hatred. He makes jokes every year about Thanksgiving being terrible.
Right. And that's funny because Thanksgiving is one of America's most beloved holidays. Chandler's constant negativity about it flips the cultural expectation, which is classic sitcom humor.
All right. Last one, Gunther's silent crush on Rachel. He doesn't say much, but every line he does say is dripping with longing. And culturally, that quiet, awkward admirer trope is really common in American TV. It's not just about romance, it's about milking awkwardness for comedy. So if you're learning English, these lines aren't just about the words, they're about understanding the social context and cultural rules behind the humor.
Exactly. And in our next episode, we are going to talk about Friends expressions that became part of everyday English. Phrases people still use 20+ years later. Trust me, you'll be shocked how many of them you've heard without even realizing they came from Friends.
See you then.